Greg Shoemaker, TriStateFootball.com, here with Eric Taylor, the head coach of the CHCA Eagles. And we had another good year last year, an outstanding defense. And let's start right there. Your front seven coming back on the defensive side of the ball in 2013. Let's talk about that group.
We're excited about our defense. We had as you mentioned, they carried us quite a bit last year, kept us in every game, did an outstanding job. I think they gave up 60 points in the regular season, and were exposed in the postseason for sure. But you know, they played outstanding. All 7 up front or back. Another Tyler Renner's at safety in addition to that. So 8 of the 11 back defensively. Coach Simpson does an outstanding job. So continuity, and it was actually a new defense last year. So it was even kind of getting used to terminology, schemes, all that. You know, we'll be back in that defense, so there'll be familiarity with you know, with the scheme, which will certainly help. And you know, we have a tough schedule, and they're going to need to play well for us to be successful.
Let's talk about your schedule a little bit. I noticed you got Indian Hill in the schedule this year, replacing Madeira. What were your plans and thoughts on putting this schedule together?
Well, quite frankly, the schedules they're done years ahead of time. We're no longer playing Madeira, which was you know, that turned into quite a rivalry, and you know, just didn't work out for scheduling again. But you know, the addition of Indian Hill, and we're actually still working on finding a game 1. We're trying to work through some things there. So hopefully that'll be finished up here real soon. But so the other changes then would be the addition of Indian Hill. Actually, that was replacing Indian Hill was replacing Lexington Christian. And then there's been some changes in our league. Dayton Christian has now entered our league. I think they were 10-0 last year. We'll be playing them, and will not be playing Cincinnati Country Day. So there's a couple teams in that league that you won't play now. So that'll be a little bit of change in our schedule. So looking forward to you know, new opponents and new opportunities.
Offensively, you got a quarterback who's going to be a 3-year starter. What are the things that you can do with him? What are the privileges that you're going to have this year in opening up your offense now that you have Connor Osborne under there for a 3rd year?
Yeah, that's important. I mean, you know, we're going to look a whole lot different than we did 2 years ago when he was a sophomore. You know, as a sophomore, his job was to manage our offense, was to you know, make a couple plays here and there, and we were going to rely heavily on our front line, and you know, we were asking him to do limited things. As a junior, he really opened up quite a bit and had an outstanding season this past season as a junior. You know, and I'm really excited to see him this year as a senior. He's a very intelligent young man, has great skill, understands the game. We're going to really be able to turn a lot of things over to him. He'll be able to make more calls at the line. He will be able to, you know, even tempo of our offense, where we're going to be able to speed back up some. You know, last year we had a really small senior group, had a lot of guys playing both ways for fatigue purposes and all those other things. We had to slow down from where we like to be. We were still no huddle all season and ran at a decent pace, but this year with him returning, you know, and having more depth in different positions, you know, we want to really get back to just cranking it out and moving as fast as we can, and I trust him fully in making decisions for us.
This year you have a very unique situation. You got all 5 offensive linemen coming back. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. I guess as a coach, would you say that's probably one of the greatest joys you could have, is having all 5 of those guys, especially running a no-huddle offense, having those guys being cohesive up front has got to be hugely important.
Absolutely. I think so often people forget how important line play is, and there's been years when we've returned all of our skill guys and lost all of our line, and people suddenly think, oh, well, they have their skill, they're going to be really good. And it's, you know, the play starts up front, and you know, for us to be able to come in immediately in the camps, be able to immediately, you know, start working on our fundamentals like we always do, but to be able to install quickly, because they already know what they need to know, and it just gets down to the fine details, and them, you know, offensive line play is all about working together, and you know, they have that experience, they have that communication, that sense of what the person next to them's doing, you know, and those are the things that are really hard to teach at times, and you know, and it's certainly an advantage for them being together and returning after a year.
Stepping away from football, I think everybody sort of, you know, we go to football and we watch football on Friday nights, you practice all week long, but Where do you separate your family? I mean, I know after Friday night games, I'm still not done with really Friday football. I go home and do recaps and look. I'm all excited to see what other teams have done around the area for a Friday. What do you do on the weekends and to finally pull yourself apart from football and family?
It's tough. It's tough. It's like you said, Friday nights after the game, it's immediately, we need to upload the film on the huddle. We need to upload our opponent's film if they weren't on huddle already. So we need to start working film immediately on Friday nights, and that starts before we ever leave this place. And then we'll leave. We try to unwind as a staff. A lot of times our staff will go together and try to unwind. Saturday morning we're back in here at 7 a.m. Breaking down the previous night's game for corrections. We break that down with the players starting at 8 or 9 a.m. And then as soon as the players leave, we're on to watching film ourselves of our upcoming opponent, and we're here until typically somewhere around 2 o'clock or so on Saturday, breaking down opponent film, and then we break. And I try to, on Saturday evening, try to completely remove myself from football and focus on my family. And then on Sundays I really find it important. I'll do football work on Sundays, but I'll get out of bed early to do it before the family's up, or I'll do it late at night when they go to bed. And I try to really keep Sunday as a family day as much as possible. Although I'm sure my wife would argue that at times I'm not as successful as I would like to be with it. But it's tough. I'm very, very blessed and fortunate to have what we call a great coach's wife, that she gets it, she understands, but at the same time, I have an 11-month-old and a 5-year-old at home, and they need my attention as well.
There you go. That's well-spoken. Head coach Eric Taylor of CHCA, 6 seasons, 50 wins already for the young coach, and I'm Greg Shoemaker for Tri-State Football.